குட் மார்னிங் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ். ரொம்ப நாளைக்கு இடைவெளிக்கு பிறகு உங்களை நான் பார்க்குறேன். ஏற்கனவே நம்ம கிளாஸில் கம்யூனிட்டி த கம்யூனிகேஷன் ஸ்கில் அண்ட் பர்சனாலிட்டி டெவலப்மெண்ட் கிளாஸில் ஒரு இன்ட்ரொடக்ஷன் கம்யூனிகேஷனாக என்ன, பர்சனாலிட்டி டெவலப்மெண்ட்டுக்கு இது எப்படி ஹெல்ப் ஆகுது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி பார்த்தோம். ஸோ அதை தாண்டி அந்த இன்ட்ரொடக்ஷன் லெக்சர்ஸுக்கு பிறகு ரெண்டாவது இம்பார்ட்டண்ட் லெக்சரு இந்த வெர்ஷனில் நம்ம பார்க்க போகிறோம். இது ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு trial version. I try to explain through some of the software through online classes. So if you have any difficulty in hearing and understanding this class, please get back to me, and we will rectify all the mistakes, taking into consideration of all your views. Okay, so I hope all of my beloved students stay home and stay safe. So I wish to stay home safe and listen onlinely, and we have interact with through some of the software we develop. Okay, so this class we are going to see about the communication models, and also the elements of communication, and some of the barriers which contribute to the disseminate or to contribute to the effect, reduce the effect of communication. So this is what this class we are going to see. So the first is what is the elements which involved in communications. As we discussed in the previous classes, the elements which were most important for any communications. So in theory classes and practical classes, we ask you to give us some exercise about please list out what are the elements which are involved in the communication process. So you may be remember that. So the most important elements in any communication process is, the first is a center. The center is the source of information. If in this process of communication, I am the center. So I have the center a responsibility of collecting all those information in order to effectively communicating it to you. So the center is the source of any particular information and also the message, because the center has some source and information, and that message has to be communicated to some audience. That is and the second important elements is the message. And the third, we have to convert the message in order to reach you, a student, or in order to the audience. We have to treat the message in such a way that, in order to reach the audience most effectively. So often we call it as the encoding. We encode the message in order to improve the receivability of that message. And fourth one is a channel, through which channel I have to communicate the message. The channel, now I'm using the internet, the medium of internet, to communicate the message to you. So in classes we are using the classrooms, the open media, and also sometimes in the radio, sometimes in the TV. So these all are considered as a channel. So the channel also one of the important elements. And decoding. So now I'm taking class through online, and I'm saying something about the elements of communication. I don't know how you can receive and decode the particular message. So depending upon the audience, depending upon your understand, you can perceive the message. That we call as a decoding. You can, based upon your understanding, based upon perception, you can decode the information and you understand accordingly. So not necessarily what I encode, but it is something different, or sometimes it is the same. But decoding is the most important element in the classes. And the receiver. So it is in this class is you. It's the receiver. The audience of our students is the receiver of the message. So that's what is another important element is come to play. And finally, based upon your experience, based upon your receiver and decoding, you get back. You give a feedback to the center. This class is okay, sir. We understand. The message is good, but sometimes also negative. So the audible is not good, sir. The content is not good. It is not readable. It is high sounded word. Like that, you can give a feedback to the teacher or center. So these all seven elements is most important in this perspective of center and receiver. So most importantly, these seven elements is both a part of the center and receiver. So it is a positive view. The most important element, eighth element, the noise. Sometimes the element of noise that entirely disturbing the communication setup. So it may be the physical, maybe the no network connection, the physical there is a no power, and also there is some huge noise in the outside. This kind of noise will reduce the effect of communication. So the any element of communication process is the 8 elements, which is a center, message, treatment or encoding, channel, decoding, receiver, feedback and noise. These are the 8 elements which severely influence any communication process. So we have to take care of all the elements in the each elements before we are communicating to the any audience. So the another important aspect actually the based upon these elements. So in order to improve the effectiveness of communication and delivery, so many scholars starting from Aristotle to latest the Rojos and Shoemaker and also Ball Legans, what we are using say that's the father of extension education, the Ball Legans, they develop some models. So what are the most important elements in the communication process? So briefly we are going to see some of the models which we are promoting. The first important model we are going to see the Rojos and Shoemaker model of communication. The Rojos and Shoemaker is one of the legendary agriculture extension and rural sociologists in the US. They develop a communication model. We simply called as a SMCRE model. We can see the the SMCRE model. The SMCRE model means the source. S stands for the source. As you know, the element is a source, and also the message, and channel, and the receiver, and finally the effect. So the Rojos and Shoemaker not involving all the 8 elements, but the Rojos and Shoemaker, they involve only 5 elements to make a effective communication. So the source, message, channel, receiver, and what kind of effect it happen over the period of communication. So these all are flow from the source to the message, and message is converted to the channel and conveyed to the receiver, and finally it has some effect. So they don't for the effect including maybe or may not be the feedback. So that's what the most of the other scholars criticize. It is a linear pattern. So the source to the receiver, but not considering the any difficulties, not considering the encoding, not considering the decoding, not considering the feedback. So the most of the scholars are criticizing this model, but this is still the SMCRE model is one of the most effective model on those days. Another important model proposed by the Shannon and Weaver's model of communication. We call the Shannon and Weaver's or the mathematical model of communication because it is something like the graph. So another important the Shannon and Weaver, they propose some kind of communication. The information source, that's we say already now, information source will be there, and that source will be communicated to some transmitters. I can encode, I encode, no? So I read so many literature, that literature I understand. Then I understand, imbibe that information, and in order to communicate the same information, how I can encode or how I can simplify the same information, that we call as a transmitter or encode, and the message will be simplified. And I choose a channel accordingly. In which channel it may be? Maybe the chart, maybe radio, maybe the audio, maybe the work or the lecture or brainstorming. I choose a channel accordingly. So it's called as a signal. And through channel I deliver the message to the receiver. Okay, again, and the final destination may be the understanding. So the message will be the understood by the student. It may be the final outcome. So all this process in channel, when I choose a channel, if I choose a brainstorming, so many noises will arise. If I choose internet, and maybe the difficulty in the connection is a buffering, so the kind of a disturbance. Noise is simply the disturbance of total communication process. So this is our simple model, Shannon and Weaver's model, which is from the it's a simple linear, again the simple linear model, but it's also lack of the feedback from the audience. The most important concept in this Shannon and Weaver's model is entropy. The entropy is a measure of uncertainty in the system. So when you are communicating or something, so the receiver or student, they may not know about what actually it means. So I have to explain the context, why it is a means, uncertainty of the system. So it is a communication should reduce uncertainty. So if you the more the uncertainty, the lesser the effect of communication. So that we call as the entropy, the redundancy. The redundancy means the degree to which information is not unique in the system. So actually, the redundancy means if the students already know some information, I have to use this. If I again and again they say the same information which you already know, then leads to the boring. So you won't listen to me. So because nothing new I am going to say. So that's what the degree to which information is not unique. So I have to say the unique information which is very useful to you, which is very innovative and which is very new to you. That's what if the lack of redundancy. The redundancy is high, the most of the effectiveness of communication is very less. And noise, as I already explained, no need to explain again, the measure of information not related to the message. It is a disturbance. And finally, the channel capacity. This is a measure of the maximum amount of information in the channel can carry. So I have to choose the channel, so it should not be over carry. For example, when I going for lecture method, my speed may be very high. So you're not able to listen properly to you. That's what channel capacity. So if you are going to choose internet medium, I have to check with the video quality and also audio quality. This also we should know about the capacity of the particular channel. So the Ligon's model of communication. So as you know, the Paul Ligon's, he is as already we discussed in the classes, he is a father of extension education. He also proposed one simple model, the linear model, was a communicator. So communicator, instead of using the source, he named a communicator. And communicator have a message and choose a channel, and after choosing channel, he treat the message accordingly depending upon the channel he choose, and it's communicated to the audience, and finally audience have a response. So here also the response may mean for the feedback, but here and again the noise and other things is not involved. So it is very simple a linear model, the communicator, message, channel, treatment, audience and response. So the audience may not be the response. Through the response only we know that the process. That's what the most important the treatment message of the giving is how the model of communication is very linear. So in this model, so they have the factors. The A is a source and B is a receiver. So both the communication from the A also and B. So the factors may be affect. For X1 is a factor. Maybe it is a natural calamity. Maybe the rain. Maybe the traffic. Maybe the tiredness. The difficulties in the listening. All these factors may be influencing the speaker. That is a source of the information. So this X1, X2, X3, X4. Maybe the rain. Maybe the natural calamity, maybe the traffic, maybe the vehicle is going down. These all are contributing or negatively contributing the source. So this leads to reduce the effect of communication to the P. That's why, and also the same kind of difficulties may be the receiver may have. And this is also we call as the effect, and the C intermediate that have a C effect of C. We call the unforeseen. This is a foreseen. The unforeseen effect also will be C. This is a Wesley-McLean model of communication. So both and A and B have some difficulties in speaking and also listening. So that's what unforeseen. We can anticipate some of the criteria, but we cannot able to all the anticipating criteria. So we have to consider the Wesley and McLean model communication say that. So both A and B have some difficulties. We have to remove those difficulties before we are proceeding further. And the final model is SMCR model. This is what the source Berlow model of communication. What we see is SMCRE model. Instead of that, SMCR, source, message, channel and receiver. The source include communication and their attitude